Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast here on your home for everything Between Realities. I am one of the hosts of this magnificent, fantastic VR podcast. Fuck, I was doing so good. And I'm joined here by my co-host, Skiva. Skiva, how you doing, brother?
Good, man. What's up? How are you? I feel like I haven't talked to you in a minute.
Dude, I feel like things are busy. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I'm busy. I'm doing things. You're busy. You're doing things. This is like the story. This has been like the story of season 4.
Yeah.
It's like
busy time.
Busy times.
Yep.
The VR space is certainly no exception to that. There's all kinds of announcements happening. There's all kinds of new headset images popping out. Like, I can't even keep track of them. There's like different companies dropping shit and games that are dropping and so much happening. And it's super, super exciting. And hopefully we get into a bunch of it today.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot going on, man. It's constant. Like, this month has just been nuts. You know, we talked about it a lot last week, but yeah, it's still trickling in.
It is. Yeah, it is. And what else is still trickling in? Our amazing chat. Hey, everybody. Thanks for showing up. We got some early birds here in the house. Mike Newton, Weekend Mick Maximus. That's pretty funny. Thanks for being here, dude. Duty does. BR Friday Hype. What's up? Thanks for being here, Duty.
Thanks.
He's been going strong on his VR accessibility series.
Yeah. There's a link actually in the description to his VR accessibility spreadsheet. And if you are a developer, contact Duty if you want him to test your stuff for accessibility.
It's a good idea. Yeah. You should do that. Z-Storm Games up in the house, dude. Rocking his new Between Realities hoodie this week.
Yeah, buddy.
So sick.
All right.
We're still on Teespring right now, right?
Yeah, I think we are.
We're trying to get off of that. And if we do, we might retire some of like our current merch.
The OG stuff.
Yeah, some of the OG stuff. So if you're interested in some of that OG Between Realities merch, sooner than later, probably. The Stone Fox is here. What's up, dude?
What's up?
We got the Stone Fox Sterling Youngman in the house. Thank you for joining us. Red/Ace is here, as well as Chroma Snare here again. Thank you. Hey, Rosanna. Thanks for joining us. I wonder why you've joined us on this magnificent day. We'll get to that in just here in a second. Natasha Tompkinson.
You got it.
Hey, Natasha. Thanks for joining.
What's up, guys?
Delirium Drew is here.
Drew.
Boom. Virtual Steve is here. Boom.
What's up?
I'm absolutely loving it. Texas Green Tea. Austin R.
What's up?
Everybody's here. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You know who else is here? Today's guest.
Yes.
Waiting in the wings with us is a VR personality, a VR community member, I would say, who has popped up quite a bit. I would say maybe the past 6 months or so.
Yeah. And someone that actually might be able to rival you in Beat Saber. Whoa.
Well, we'll see what she has to say about that. Please, everybody, welcome to Between Realities VR with Jasmine. Hello, Jasmine.
Hey, hi everybody. Thank you for having me today. And Alex, there's no competition. We already know that.
Oh my! Wait, that means no competition, as in I would destroy you, right? That is.
No. Don't you see Skiva's shirt? That's for me.
I actually did this where I did wear this to kind of to kind of get you guys button heads on this one today.
You really wanted to set her up for failure like this? Like, I thought she was your friend.
You guys are both friggin' nasty at that game, man. I would love to see a Beat Saber off.
Well, I would love to see that happen as well. And, I've actually even considered hitting you up recently because, I know that you often talk about like VR for fitness. And I know you've personally used VR for fitness in your own journey. And I'm definitely looking for that like Beat Saber accountability buddy. Because for me, it's all about the social experience of VR, as you all know, and Beat Saber multiplayer, I think is amazing. What do you think, Jasmine?
Whenever I go into Beat Saber multiplayer, there's never anyone there in the Expert Plus lobby, so I don't know unless you're doing like private ones.
That's what it's all about. You got to hit up friends. It's like, hey, you. Right now, let's go. Like we would do. We would join a party, and then you can hear each other, and then you jump into the game together, and it's brilliant.
Beat Saber is one of those things that it's like, if it's a random, do you really care what that other person's getting for a score?
No, not at all.
It doesn't really matter.
Nope.
It's got to be friends.
But when Jasmine and I go toe to toe, all of a sudden she's gonna start sweating a little bit. She's gonna start shaking. She's gonna be like, "Oh, wait a second, what did I get myself into?" And then before you know it, there I am at the top. wearing the crown.
Looks like Alex can talk the talk, but can he walk the walk? I don't
Can
know.
you swing the swing?
Find
Let's
out
see.
later this month on Between Realities, the cage match. VR with Jasmine versus Alex VR.
Speaking about
yes.
multiplayer and cage matches, I do want to steer this out a little bit because we do have a competition coming on tomorrow that anyone can join, right? I'm super excited for this. It is a Contractors competition, right? Using the Cybershoes, and this is a community tournament. So all of you sign up. Let's get in there and shoot at each other. I think it'll be a damn good time.
Do you hear that, Genghis VR, who just joined us in the chat? How
What's
you doing,
up?
my
How's
lady?
it going?
Thank you for joining us. Maybe you can feel free to hit us up tomorrow. Either tune in at the stream or come meet us on the battlefield for some Contractors.
Yeah, if you have the Cybershoes, there is a link in the description. That is the only requirement, that you have the Cybershoes, you have the game Contractors, and obviously that you have virtual reality, right? So come on in, play with us. We will be streaming it here live on the channel as well. So it's going to be a damn good time. So let's do it.
Yep. Since we're going to be on this channel, you might as well go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We are going to try to hit 2K by the end of our season. I think that's going to be our goal, right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Not too bad,
That would
right?
be fantastic.
2,000 subscribers before the end of season 4. Let's get it. So tomorrow we're going to do a special event. It's not a podcast. It's a gaming event, and it's going to be super fun. And who knows, maybe RobynzReality will join us. Hey, Robin, thanks for joining
What's
us
up, Robin?
today. We've
How's it
also
going,
got
buddy?
Endeavor One in the house. Get to the chopper, our boy Dane chilling in chat. And of course, Quip Silva here chilling.
Oh, what's up? What's up? I love all you people. I really do. I love you guys. You know, this community is just the freaking best.
It is.
It really is.
Isn't this community the best VR with Jasmine?
Yeah, I mean, VR community is so kind and welcoming, and everyone's just so fun. This is great energy.
It really is. So
And speaking of community,
everybody.
real quick,
Oh no,
too,
this is another famous
real quick,
segue, Skiva segue.
I want to do the community a favor here, and I want to tell you real quick again about VRTrend Magazine, because I friggin' love this magazine. And these guys currently have a Kickstarter going on, and it only has 9 days left, guys. And it's like over halfway there, right? So I just want to make sure that that we're all on the same page. And if I can find my button, I will show you. Yeah. So here we go. There, it looks like they have $3,351 pledged out of their goal of, what was it, $6,500.
Dude, 6,500 is not an outrageous or astronomical goal.
No,
Like,
I don't think so.
It would be really amazing if these guys could get the support that they need.
I've definitely thrown down on this Kickstarter, even though I'm a subscriber already and stuff, but I really want to see these guys improve their business model. They want to get, guys, listen, they want to get this magazine out to like in airports and Barnes and Noble and shit like that. Like this is kind of a big deal, right? Because it's going to bring VR to people that have never even heard about it before. If they're walking around and they see this magazine sitting on the shelf, they're going to know. I mean, this is another step of VR becoming a big deal. And so I just want to help nudge that along, right?
Not only that, it's one that's perpetuated purely by the community and their passion for it. It's not perpetuated by some conglomerate corporation that sees the potential and sees the dollar signs, you know, which is what, unfortunately, a lot of our progress is inspired by, or owning the metaverse or whatever. But this is something made by the people for the people. It's beautiful. Of course, we're huge supporters. We're both collaborators. We're both patrons. And now we are both asking you to support it. So VRTrend Magazine, get on it.
All right. Well, cool. Enough of that. We are also not being paid by VRTrend or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know,
thing. We don't
not
get
affiliated. We just love them.
But maybe they could get big enough to where we could actually be paid. You know, not that we want to, but we want to see them succeed. You know, and that would be cool.
That'd be dope. Dope AF. So go ahead and clicky on that Kickstarter, please.
So I want to learn a little bit more about Jasmine before we kind of dive into some of this week's topics.
Heck yeah.
Okay, because here on the show, I like to get to know who we have sitting there with us, joining with us. And Jasmine, I feel like you kind of came out of nowhere. Like we're all just chilling. We're like having a good time, all like doing VR stuff together. And then boom, there's Jasmine. She's in your face. She's a part of the community like overnight. Like I assume you were into VR before we saw you, right?
Yeah, so a little background on me. I've been in VR probably since 2017. My first one was the Samsung Gear VR. And then I switched to the CV1, and now I'm on the Q2. But when the pandemic started, that's kind of how I got really, really into VR. I think a lot of us probably doubled down on VR once the pandemic started. Basically, I was just playing Beat Saber in order to work out. No one was leaving the house, and I needed to get my workout. I mean, nobody in the world was leaving their house because we didn't know how dangerous the virus was. So I just started playing a ton of Beat Saber. And then I also got really, what's the word? I felt really isolated, as I'm sure many people felt at the beginning of the pandemic. So that's why I decided to start streaming, because I was like, I'm playing Beat Saber for hours every single day anyway. Why not give this a shot? I went full on onto the Twitch scene. For a little bit over a year, I was just doing hardcore Beat Saber. My arms were like basically about to fall off every single night, whatever.
Now, is this PC?
Alex giving you a run for your money.
Yeah, right. Well, again, we'll see. Was this PC VR? Did you have a computer and you were streaming to Twitch with that? Yeah, and what headset were you using?
Yeah, I was using the CV1 Oculus Rift.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was really good times, and I really love like interacting with live community, especially with the VR community, because everyone's just great. But I just, as I kept streaming Beat Saber, I just felt like I had a lot more to bring to the VR community. So a little bit more background on me. I was a teacher / tutor for about 10 years. My background's in engineering, and I'm a huge tech person. So for me, like teaching technology to people is just like it's just like a very natural thing for me. So after thinking about it, I decided maybe I need to double down on this like YouTube content. And so I was trying to evaluate what was already on the market on YouTube. And there's a lot of information for hardcore VR enthusiasts, which makes sense because before only like the hardcore people were really in the scene. But as we're seeing this transition to more, it's like beginning to transition into mainstream, I've just seen that like there's not much information for the everyday common folk who might not be that technical. For example, like my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Not like, yeah, my mom's in the chat. So my mom's like the least technical person in the whole entire world. So how I came out of her, I have no idea. Like she probably wouldn't even be able to change a light bulb.
Oh,
sorry,
gosh.
I'm telling your
Mom,
secrets.
no, it's not true.
Ouch.
Yeah, but I got her into VR, and she plays VR every single day, like pretty much every single day. She plays like 3 times a day, I believe, mostly like fitness stuff.
Nice.
But if I can get someone like my
nice.
mom into VR and have it be something positive in her life, I don't know, it's just such a great feeling. So that's kind of why I've stopped streaming on Twitch, and now I'm like full on YouTube, making a lot of content to like invite new people into VR and build our VR community into something even bigger.
I love it. I would love it. I would almost say that, like you said, that it comes naturally, but it almost looks like a compulsion from where I'm sitting. Because it's like, that the information is not out there as well as it should be. People have misconceptions about VR, and maybe, just maybe, that drives you insane. And you're like, no, it's easier than you realize.
Wow, how are you reading my mind? That's creepy. But yeah, that's actually exactly how it feels like when I talk to people, especially like my friends or my family. Oh my gosh, my family. And they just don't understand what VR is capable of, or, they think that it's something that's unattainable for them, not useful for them. I'm like, come on, yes, it is. Let me show you. So a lot of these videos I send to all my friends and my family members. I'm like, stop asking me questions. Just watch this video. I made this for you and for everybody else that has the same exact question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is something that we've kind of talked about a few times on this show, but we've both had experiences where we're kind of taken back when we show someone, or at least maybe, I don't know, I guess I should speak for myself. I don't know if you've had this before, but where I've showed VR people multiple times, I've shown VR to people and they're unimpressed. They're unenthusiastic after the experience, Have you had similar experiences where you're like, yep, this is new, it's awesome, it's great, you put it on there, and they're like, okay, yeah, kind of cool. And you're like, no, it's really cool. What do you mean kind of cool?
For me or for Skiva?
For you. Like for you. Have you?
So I don't remember a time that's ever happened, but I will tell you something just happened just yesterday, actually. Well, it's been happening over the past week. As I got a friend into VR. She was super, super excited to get into VR. She grabbed Population 1 right off the bat, grabbed, Quest 2, excited for Resident Evil 4, which is really what made her take the plunge,
Wow.
right? And then she hopped into Resident Evil and almost threw up. And now it's really hard for her.
No.
Yeah, I know. She's super susceptible
Oh.
to motion sickness. And that, oh my God, it bums me out so much when
So
that happens, man.
This totally goes into what I was going to ask Jasmine. It's like, what do you think are the primary pain points for these people, right? Like your target audience, the people who you want to reach out to, what are the primary pain points for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. But first, in regards to the VR motion sickness, I have a video about that. So send it to your friends and anyone else who hears about the same issues from other people. Like, just send them that video of mine. In regards to pain points, so going back to the first question you asked me, which is if I've ever had anyone not be super excited after I got them into a VR headset. No, not really. Everyone that I put them in a headset is like, man, maybe I should buy this. And
Nice.
even the very skeptical people. But I think what's important when you're introducing someone to the VR is you should know that person like a decent amount and know what would be something that's interesting for them. Because I think we as people tend to think that what we like, other people will like. And that's not necessarily true. So I try to understand what that person would like. And I ask them questions too before I pick something for them to start off with. I think that's pretty important. And then now to your question about what's the barriers to entry for people. I know that even at even at the cheapest headset, which is the $300 Quest 2, that's still not something that's super affordable for people. But thinking on like a larger scale of what's preventing people to getting into VR is I think just a lack of information about how it's applicable to them. A lot of people that's not in the VR space, when you first mention VR to them, they'll think, oh, it's for gamers, or I'm not a tech person like my mother. But when I think fitness is a really big deal or a big goal for a lot of people, especially in the US. So when you show them a way to achieve one of their goals in something that's fun and maybe something that's different, because obviously things that they've been doing in the past hasn't worked out for them. So that's one. And then some other things that I like to show people is if they're into, like if they want to socialize or just see something crazy or build something. I mean, you can build stuff in the tilt brush, or if you want to see something crazy, send them into VR chat or Neos or one of the social activities. But yeah, I think it's mostly a lack of information for the mainstream, the mainstream people, and also just trying, for them it's hard to visualize how VR can help them and their life. So it's just targeting what it is that they're looking for and showing them that VR can meet those needs.
I find the thing that I find so interesting about that is that, like, for me, for example, I'm the kind of person, I mean, I'm like, I don't know if it's a left brain or right brain, but I'm like, I love like music and art, and I'm like, I would consider myself a creative type, and I find real appreciation in a lot of that stuff. And for me, just the experience of just the transformative immersive experience alone, regardless of any kind of useful application, was mind-blowing. That was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm somewhere else. And I didn't think for a second, but how does this help me? You know what I mean? Like, what is it that they're missing? What is it that I have that they don't, that's preventing them from seeing what I see? That's what I want to know.
That's a really good question. It is all the time. It's people want to know how this can benefit them, right? I mean, there are people that are like, oh, I'm just not into gaming, but fitness, right? Fitness is huge. And I feel like what we've seen from Oculus lately or Meta or Facebook or whoever the hell they are today, right, is they're really making a push for fitness, right? Because it's a big deal, man. I think a lot of people understand when they see this and they first play something like Beat Saber that this can really give you a really good workout, right? And we see that now, like, for sure, because they just bought Supernatural. Like, that's huge.
Oh, did you? Congrats.
No, they.
Oh, they. I thought you did. I was
No.
Sweet.
Yes,
Good job, man. Way to commit.
Supernatural company.
Oh, wait, never mind. Let me just take that back.
No, so Facebook went out and they purchased the studio, right? And that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't something I would have really pegged on them. They went out and they bought Onward, they bought Population 1. They've bought some IPs that have a lot to do with gaming. running and gunning and things like that. But it's really good to actually see them scoop up a studio like this that's doing really good things. And Supernatural is pretty awesome, and I have played with it a little bit. But you know, I can't. I wish I could commit a little bit more. I'm just like, when I get into VR, I just want to hang out and shoot things with my friends, and that's an issue I got to get past, right? Because I really do want to exercise more, and I want to lose some weight more, and I want to be able to get into things like this and really enjoy myself. And I do when I'm in there. I do enjoy myself. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of exercise, and that's you know.
Right.
Anyway.
Are we talking about VR for fitness now? Because I have like a lot to say on this topic.
Well, before we get into it, I just want to know, Jasmine, does VR need to be useful to be impactful or adopted? I mean, I guess the answer is probably going to be yes, but I just am curious why.
See, so if you were like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a way to explain this, but if you saw something that wowed you and you're like, wow, this is amazing, but that novelty eventually wears off. I guess you can compare it to when you're first dating someone. You're like, oh my gosh, wow, this is amazing because you have all the hormones or whatever. But eventually all that novelty wears off and you're like, what's the point? Why am I investing my time into this? So yeah, to some extent, there has to be some usefulness for someone to keep committing to something. And I think for you, specifically, the wow factor of VR is usefulness enough for you, but that doesn't necessarily translate to everybody else.
That's beautiful. Well said.
Yeah, very nicely said.
So what do you got to, I mean, unless you have more to add on that, what do you got to say about VR for fitness?
Well, I don't know if everybody in chat knows what Supernatural is, and I play Supernatural a ton, so maybe I'll just give a quick background on it. So Supernatural is really similar to Beat Saber in that that there's like 2 different colored orbs and then you have to hit them in a certain direction. So similar mechanics, but the way you play it is a little bit different because Supernatural, all the orbs or all the blocks, not the orbs, are really close to each other. So you're mostly using your wrist and your forearms. And I'm sure a lot of people know that feeling of your wrist falling apart. But then when you play Supernatural, it's far apart, using full body, core should hurt. So I'm explaining the difference between the two because I get from so many people that say Supernatural is the same thing as Beat Saber. And I'm like, no, it's not. I play both of them a lot, and I know that they're very, very different.
Yeah, that's almost like saying dancing is the same thing as aerobics. You know, like it's not. Like it really, the intention is everything. And Beat Saber, while you can get a great workout playing it, it wasn't made so you can get a great workout. It was made to be a great fucking game, which it is. Yeah. You know, so it's a great game, and sure, it's a workout, but Supernatural was made to be a workout. That was the intention. Yeah,
it really gets you moving in all different kinds of ways. You're swinging around those sabers, right? But you're also ducking and weaving, and you're moving in different ways. Right. Yeah. And you have a coach that's yelling, you know, I mean, nicely, you know, trying to motivate you to work harder and push harder and do better, which is something you don't have in Beat Saber. Right.
Can I say, though, I wish it, I don't know, maybe it is, but when I tried Supernatural, it was not an option to not have the coach in your ear. And I found it to be a little, I don't want to say obnoxious, but I can't think of a better word. Like I didn't want it. Like I was present. I was focused. I was trying really hard, and I didn't need anybody saying anything.
Yeah,
but I guess I did find myself taking them up on some of like the point, like, okay, and remember to engage your core. And I'm like, fine, you know. So I guess
and
it is
that's
beneficial.
One of the things that's good, right? Because when you pop in, you pop in a workout video. Is that even a thing anymore? Do people pop in videos anymore?
YouTube, bro.
I don't know.
YouTube.
So when you
my wife
put
does
in
them
the
on
VCR tape, right? No, but when you
I think it's just Chloe Ting now.
Right, but like you don't have the option during the workout to have the coach like not say anything, but in an immersive technology like this, it would be really nice to have an option to get rid of that person's ear, right? Because sometimes you just want to get in the zone and you just want to do it and you want to go hard and you don't want someone telling you what to do and trying, I get it, that can be a little bit annoying. But for me, someone like me, I think I need that. I need someone going, all right, do this, because I'm like just trying to get through it, and sometimes I forget that I really got to like put more into it and like use your core and things like that, because sometimes I think of it too much from a gaming perspective, and I'm just trying to.
Supernatural too does a really good job of incentivizing you to swing hard. Like in Beat Saber, like I can just very like I can really start to like soften up and relax if I need to. But in Supernatural, it's like, no, swing harder. Like you're not getting the cuts if you're not swinging that thing.
Yeah, but also there's a power rating. So if
Right.
you don't swing hard, you don't get the power rating. The other thing with Supernatural, because I think I saw Z Storm saying that he didn't realize that the two games were that different. Other thing about Supernatural is that there's like triangles, so you have to either squat or lunge underneath the triangles. So it does work out your legs. And I don't know if you guys have seen, I'm positive you've all seen the memes about Beat Saber where everyone's like, this is a Beat Saber player, and they're all like super top heavy. And then they show a meme of a pistol whip player and their legs are like jacked.
Man,
So
I love
Supernatural will make
pistol
you a
whip.
little bit more balanced.
I love pistol whip, but yeah, that is a leg workout game. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
for sure.
I think Supernatural is really awesome. The only reason that I don't have it and use it is because there's a monthly subscription, and I
Same.
think that that's the primary deterrent for a lot of people. You know, I think the target demographic is definitely that maybe not hardcore gamer, not tech person, like really focused on using that as a workout device and replacing their gym membership. Like that's what it is. It's like a gym membership replacement. So the money that you would have been spending going to the gym, you now spend on your Supernatural subscription, save money, you're at home, you're using VR. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, it's been a money saver because gym memberships are really expensive. So I like it.
They are. And that's the ultimate waste of money for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going.
Dude, I am not a gym person myself. If I'm
Hate it.
working out, I'm
Hate
going
it.
to a park. And I
Yeah.
did Kung Fu training, and like I learned how to do everything outside, like calisthenically, you know, like use a tree, use a rock. Like you don't need weights and machines
Yeah.
and stuff.
When I'm doing something, there has to be intention there, right? Like I can't go to a machine and have the goal be to work the machine to get, like I need to go out and do something. I want to go out and ride my bicycle. Like I
Right.
want to go up, go down some paths and ride up some hills and shit. Like I don't
Oh,
want
dude.
to.
So we're kind of getting to something here, I think, because VR is super immersive, right? And when you put a VR headset on, time almost moves by a lot faster. You know, like
does.
you'll lose 20 minutes just loading screens if you're not careful in VR, and it'll fly by pretty quick. When I do the Kung Fu training, which admittedly has been a minute, but when I do it, there's an intention setting that happens first. First, you sit down and you clear your mind. You meditate for 5 minutes and like get rid of everything. And then you stand up and you put intention into your practice. Well, you're not necessarily praying when you play Supernatural, but you are putting a headset on and like wiping the slate, like all of that like stuff that was going comes to a screeching halt when you put the headset on and you look around and you see just an environment, and now you're somewhere else. You've created space for this. If you don't create space for yourself to do the growth, it becomes extremely difficult. You feel like you don't want to do this. Oh, this sucks. I hate doing this thing, whatever. But if you say, nope, clearing my mind, clearing the space, let's get it. That is what really makes an awesome workout happen. And I think that's what VR can really help do is you put the headset on, you are now transported, your mind is cleared, you've created space for you to do that growth.
Yeah. And if you can trick me into doing something fun, and at the same time, it's moving my body and really getting me a good workout, then I'm all for it. I just got to get past that monthly subscription fee thing.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah.
Well, so there's definitely other games that you can do that are a good workout that don't have a subscription. So,
And I do try to use those. Like I said, I love playing Pistol Whip. I love Synth Riders a lot too. I have this newfound passion for Synth Riders.
Nice.
I love Synth Riders.
Yeah,
So good.
it's so good, right? Like I played that game for a little bit, and then I kind of put it down for a minute, and then we had the Val episode, the VR Athletics League, and we had Synth Riders on. And they showed some cool stuff. And then directly after that, me and Alex are also a part of this show called the VR Chat Show. It has nothing to do with VR Chat, but it is in Rec Room. And they create these really cool environments from within a game. And then they bring the developers in and interview them from within a level in their game. And it's super cool. Go check it out. If you're not subscribed, go check that out. It's really fun. But we had an episode in there with Synth Riders, and man, just looking around that environment and hearing them talk about the experiences they created, I got back into it, and ever since I've been playing it. And some of those experiences are moving, man.
Yeah.
Like they did one with Muse that was just freaking
that was
killer.
so beautiful.
Yeah, it was so
I played
good.
that probably 10 times straight. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've been saving it because I want to do some MR of that, bro.
Oh, let's do it.
I so want to do some MR of that.
Let's do it.
We really
Let's
should.
do that. And there's a great experience with the Offspring, which I really liked. It's a little bit. It wasn't as lovey-dovey as the Muse one. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of skulls and cool things happening like that. I have not yet though tried the Spiral mode. They did come out with another mode called Spiral mode, which I hear is really really cool.
Oh, it's like kind of like a 360, right? You like
Kind of, but you like lean your body in order to control to keep yourself on path on the spiral.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, it's really cool. And I am definitely going to be getting into that this weekend.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, dude, VR for fitness, it's definitely no joke. The most hardcore fitness I've ever experienced in VR was multiplayer PvP with a friend in Creed on PSVR.
Ooh, Creed is nasty.
Shit. I've told
Creed
the
is
story
nasty.
before and I'll tell it again. I had blisters, huge blisters, like quarter-sized blisters underneath my big toes because I was gripping the tile of my living room so hard and sticking and moving while
Wow.
boxing.
Wow.
Huge blisters under my feet.
That's kind of gross.
Absolutely annihilated me. It was so intense. But I think
that is a hell of a game though, isn't it?
I think it's because I was against a real person,
Yeah.
like the other homie there, and I'm trying to bring him down, and you really dig deep for that.
Yeah, that's the way to play that game is multiplayer.
Totally.
I think, and if you do want to get some better fitness out of that game, play it on the Quest. Right? If you're going to play single player, you can turn off the artificial fatigue, right? Because in the game, your character gets fatigued, and then when you throw a punch, it doesn't necessarily throw at the same time, right? But you can turn that off on the workout mode on the Quest, and you can really, really get a good workout. And I have dove back into that as well a little bit. So,
what else did you want to get into?
So there have been some things happening. There's been, one thing I don't want to kind of go down the negative route, but there's something happened that really, really bothered me this week. And it didn't even happen this week. It happened all the way in 2018, but it's so relevant to what's going on right now because we just had Facebook Connect or Meta Connect or whatever it is, right? You guys are with me on that, right? But we let me turn off Supernatural here. So there is this quote from Jason Rubin. Jason Rubin is the head of play. He's the VP, the vice president of games at Oculus. It's a big deal, right? And he came out and he was talking about the metaverse in a letter to Facebook. And that letter, and in that letter, he says, let's not build the metaverse with the plan to help other platforms accumulate and retain consumers. He said, let's build the metaverse to keep them from being in the VR business in a meaningful way at all. What a disgusting thing to say. In other words,
2018.
He said that in 2018 because they've obviously been working on this metaverse thing for quite some time, right? It didn't just pop up overnight, but he said this in 2018. And obviously ever since, he's said like, oh, we decided not to go that route. Well, of course you're going to say that. What are you going to say? Oh, yep, that's right.
Yep. And I stand by it.
Right. He got caught with his pants down saying something disgusting. Right. And now he's trying to backpedal on it, which is super gross. And that really, really bums me out because this is and this is one of the reasons why people have been so just pulling back on the whole Facebook thing, trying to, help create the metaverse because they talk about it being open and they talk about it being like this collaborative thing with people. But then you get a behind the scenes look of what these people are really thinking and what they really want to do. And they want to monopolize this and they want it all to be on them. They want to take a cut of everything. They want it to be the metaverse.
Well, and I mean, I don't think this is any surprise to anybody who has been like actually following Facebook and Oculus and this whole story because they have continuously proven that what they say and what they do are two completely different things. So
over and over
at this
again.
point,
It's
anything
too bad.
anybody says is complete lip service. And if he says, "Oh yeah, no, we're doing it," like what we can,
But we know
we have
this
to take it all
stuff,
with a
right?
grain of salt.
But we know this stuff because we are always watching what they're doing and we're always looking and because we're so involved in VR, right? But your normal person doesn't give a crap what's going on. They're not like following Facebook, they just know about
Right.
Facebook and they know about some of the things they're working on, but they don't they're not in it. You know what I mean? And so stuff like this flies under the radar for a lot of people, right? And I think it's a big deal. It's a big deal to show intention here. This is the intention of this guy and what he wants to accomplish. And it's really messed up, and it really makes me sad, man.
Well, and
it really does.
I'm still so pissed about the whole like them hijacking the metaverse thing, you know, like them realizing that no one owns the term, so they just change their name to Meta, and they buy out another company whose stock acronym was VRSE. Meta VRSE. So they bought out another company so they could get their like stock acronym. So that way it's Meta and Verse. And now a company has come forward in the past couple of days that's called the Meta Company, who is basically talking about how Facebook reached out to them and tried to buy them out, tried to buy the name, tried to do this, tried to do that, and they were like, nope, screw you, said no, and
they took it anyway.
They just did it anyway.
Because money talks, and let's be real here, they're not going to go back on this after that presentation. They're not going to do it. They're going to just throw money at this problem until it gets fixed that way. Which is sad. But to, you know, either way, to hear something like this being said behind the scenes, and you know, and now it's out there. And, you know, so really know people, know what these people really want. I mean, and let's be real. It's not just Facebook. This is the way a lot of corporations think. You know what I mean? I don't know that any other company would necessarily try to do this any better. Right. So, you know, we just have to be careful, and we have to make our voices heard, right? And we have to go out there and not ignore things like this.
Are you interested in weighing in on this, Jasmine?
And in general, I try not to involve myself in these types of conversations. I think there's enough talk about it, and
that's cool.
So no being the answer to that question.
No.
Well, you know,
either way, I wanted to throw it out there just for our viewers to see, right? Because, you know, it's in the news right now. There is a link to the article. One of the many articles that talks about this. The one I linked in the description below is CNBC, I believe. But yeah, it's down there if you want to read the whole thing.
Did you see the image of the MetaQuest box or whatever?
I did, yes. Let's bring that up. So these guys are they're rebranding now. Right now. It's actually right behind Alex there. You can now see that they have started rebranding to MetaQuest 2. And this is from a Disneyland or a Disney World experience that's coming. There was an article that Oculus wrote, and within that article, there is the new branding. So it's coming already. So be aware of that. Here, let me pop up
the
that
MetaQuest 2.
Yep.
Am I gonna get used to saying Meta?
Yeah, you will eventually. We get used to all this stuff eventually. No one ever thought we'd get used to, you know, associating Facebook with virtual reality, but we did. You know what I mean? Yeah. Meta's not even that bad of a name. It's just, you know, personally, I think it's just the association with you know, trying to hijack what Meta is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Well.
So the rebranding has started.
You know, you know, there's a reason why we own Quest, right? Like, we obviously have reservations about the way that this is all being handled. You know, big, huge corporation who doesn't really care to keep things open and free for everybody kind of getting involved. But at the same time, it is amazing to have somebody with the resources required to push VR in front of people. And they're able to do stuff like this Blade and Sorcery announcement. Like, I often talk about like VR game marketing and how I personally feel that a lot of developers show their cards way too soon. Because by the time a game actually comes out, I've seen so many clips that I feel like I've practically played the game and the hype has died down. You know, like it needs to be like, here's the announcement, here's the game. And that is exactly what happened with this Blade and Sorcery Nomad. They were like, guess what, everybody? Blade and Sorcery is coming out for the Quest standalone. We're all like, holy shit. 2 days later, poof, there it is on the store. Like, whoa, like they capitalized on the hype. Everyone's talking about it, and then it comes out. And that is how you release a game, people.
Yeah, I agree, man. And it's crazy too, because this is a small team, right? This is a small team. The developer's name is Warpfrog, and they've been developing and working to make Blade and Sorcery amazing since the very beginning. This game has been out on the PC for a very long time. When this game came out on the PC, there was a little bit of jank, there was some performance issues. Now it runs butter smooth. It's really, really good. The Quest version has a little bit of performance issues sometimes, depending on what you're doing, how many people are on the map, things like that. But like, for the most part, it runs really well. I mean, I was blown away by this. I was like, wow, you're going to get like 90% of this, like of the PC experience on your standalone Quest. Like, I mean, full-blown murder simulation at its finest here with Blade and Sorcery. You know, you get all the spells and all the different weapons you can spawn in. I was kind of hoping that they would release this with the dungeon thing, you know, because I think that just came out on PC, and I am dying to try that, but I was more focused on the Quest release. But for the most part, man, I mean, this is really, really good. So
Yeah.
I've never played this game. I've heard a lot about it, and I'm definitely playing it this weekend, but can someone catch me up? What's the TLDR?
So if
It's a
you
sandbox.
it's a sandbox thing. There isn't a story at the moment, but there is one being written. There's a whole dungeon campaign that is happening right now on the PC. But right now, this is about realism. This is about fighting with swords, sword fighting and melee combat, right? This is about, there are some bow and arrows and some things like that. But in this game, you can spawn in a million different kinds of swords, hatchets, staffs, all kinds of things. And then you bring in NPCs and you
Or
fight.
victims, really.
Yeah, victims. Yeah, you bring in the
That
victims.
sounds really fun.
Yeah, and then you fight, man.
I'll
You can
definitely try
like
it this weekend.
grab people by the face and
Yeah,
like beat them up and
It's the
throw them off
freedom.
cliffs. And yeah,
It's the freedom.
Yeah.
It puts you in a room with a lot of fun toys and some people to kill. And you just get creative, and there's a lot of expression in the way you kill, which is really funny to say, but there is. You can like do 360s and cut off their heads, and then put like 4 heads in a row on a pike and then kill somebody with that. Like you can like swing around, kick people. It supports full body, which is one of the reasons why people love it.
Yeah, on the PC it does.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's just been a staple. Like it was like the first really good like physics-based melee combat sim to hit VR, so it has that name recognition. And there have been a couple of games to come out on like SideQuest and App Lab that attempt to recreate the Blade and Sorcery formula. And even if they do it just as good or better, they will still have to go up against the recognition that Blade and Sorcery has. Like everyone has heard of this.
That's the thing is like people try, but Warp Frog has really done an amazing job with this title because you can, it has a lot to do with the sorcery as well.
Did they make the original one, Warp Frog? Did they make Blade and Sorcery on the PC? So the same developer, they didn't like bring anybody else in?
No, it's the same small, tiny, couple-person development studio, which is wild because it did such a damn good job, right? But in this game, one of the cool things is you can like summon fireballs and ice balls and electricity, and you can do all this stuff. But you can also like pull out your sword, and you can grab a fireball and you can heat up the steel on the sword, and the sword will kind of catch on fire and it'll glow red, and then you can use that and as you stab people, you can kind of see the heat transfer to their body. I mean, the things they did and the attention to detail that these guys really have put into this is kind of unparalleled to anyone else attempting to make something like this.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
So I guess Giva, you're a fan.
I am. I am. I really do like
just
this
in
game.
passing.
I do. But this game has, I mentioned this on last week's show. This game has given me some really serious feelings in VR. You know what I mean? Like I remember murdering someone in this game on the PC and having to take my headset off and having a moment of panic and anxiety that I just did something very wrong. It was very realistic and very moving, and it messed with my brain a little bit.
There's a viral TikTok featuring this video where it says like, I think I married a psychopath or something like that. And she comes down to the basement and she sees him like slamming his head, like slamming the head over and over again. That's what Blade and Sorcery allows you to do. You can just absolutely be totally visceral and brutal. Or not, or you can be very finesseful and
and you can learn how to sword fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These NPCs will legit sword fight you. You can grab a shield and a big sword, or a two-handed, Excalibur sword, or however you want to go at it, man. And you can really do it up. You can get creative. You can like grab onto these zip lines with your hatchets and kind of go soaring through the map and let go and land on someone's head and like just do absolutely insane things. And it's so much fun. It really is. And I think they brought a lot of this to the Quest.
Make a comment on this?
Absolutely.
So I don't want to take away from like Bladed Sorcery, because I do think it, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure that it has a lot of great things about it. But we talked about Pistol Whip earlier, and then now we're talking about Bladed Sorcery with like the fighting styles and techniques. And I will say, when it took me a while to even get used to Pistol Whip, because the thought of having to like shoot and also be shot at, which is a weird thing because I am a gamer, but I guess I'm very highly empathetic. So for me, these type of games, I really have to desensitize myself over time in order to be able to even play them and not feel something. So I kind of want to talk about how I don't think there's enough experiences yet at the moment that that isn't so heavily focused on like violence.
We talk about
absolutely.
That. We talk about that from time to time here, because when when like last week when we had the guys from Virginia Philosophy Labs on the show, we were talking about morality, and it's like a lot of the games that we play are simulators of things that we are very bad, are violent, are murder simulators, or shooting people, and or fights and stuff like that. And one thing that I find interesting, and I'm sure Jasmine, you can relate to this, is like I was talking about Creed, for example. When you go into Creed for the first time and you go toe to toe with one of these guys, they're like big, like huge and stacked and scary looking, and they're getting in your face, and it triggers the fight or flight a little bit, like especially when you're like the presence is really felt by the avatar, and I can imagine that if you've never been in a physical confrontation ever, and then you go into like a boxing game in VR, that you could be breaking through some real barriers. Like it could actually make you more comfortable over time with being in that space, because you see an opponent across from you and you understand the intention here is to do battle, like you get into that headspace a little bit in a way that you've never been before. And I think that actually could translate and make someone maybe more comfortable kind of going toe to toe with somebody. Obviously it wouldn't make you a better fighter,
like
but
maybe someone that was in a bar that might have walked away from a confrontation, if it were to come up, maybe now they're a little bit more confident.
Something like that. What do you think, Jasmine?
My thoughts is, man, I also haven't played Creed before, but the thought of someone coming in my face and trying to intimidate me, like, I don't know, that just doesn't sound that fun to me, like something I would want to do in my free time. If someone in real life were to come up to me and try to threaten me, I would actually just walk away. Like I have, I'm not a aggressive type of person.
Right.
But for me, so one of my Twitch moderators, I finally convinced her to get a VR headset after like about a year of trying to convince her. And she just kept asking me if there's a game where she can build a house and invite people over. And I was like, I don't know of any that are super easy to do like that, because I also would like that. I just want some fun things, some cute things.
Well, for her, I think soon here, we're going to be getting Oculus Homes again on the Oculus Quest, right? So for a long time, if you remember on the Rift, right, you could take your home environment and you could completely customize it and change the flooring and put down carpets and different kinds of chairs and hang things on the walls and different awards that you get in games. And you can really customize that space and make it amazing. And then you can invite your friends over. Right, and you can hang out and you can watch videos together and you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Well, that's something that Quest owners have really wanted to do for a while, and for good reason, because it's freaking awesome, right? I mean, it brings that social interaction to a new level. That person that I got into VR, when we joined a party together, they're like, "Why can't I see you here?" Right? Because I mean, it's virtual reality, right? You expect to be able to be
That's such a good point.
Yeah. So I feel like
really
this
unusual.
It is. It's weird that you can't see that person, right? But this is something that they're building. This is something that should be coming very soon from what they said, so we'll see, because that is a big deal, being able to bring someone into your space.
Well, and a lot of games are just like games period are always objective based. And sometimes the pressure to achieve that objective is a lot stronger than in other games. Like even Beat Saber, which I argue is one of the most approachable games ever. If it's someone's first time, I absolutely put it on no fail, because I don't want them to feel this pressure of having to perform or perform well. I think people often get discouraged because they don't want to do well, or they don't want to do poorly, you know, or they watch me shred and then like, oh no, I can't do that. So no, you know, like it's like they get self-conscious about their performance. And I also do want to recommend Raccoon Lagoon for your friend. So good. Like, so good. I love Raccoon Lagoon. It's like Animal Crossing in VR. Play it. It's
really
yeah,
okay.
So
I'm gonna add that to my list. I was actually gonna say I was waiting for a game that's like Animal Crossing, or for any OG MMORPG people like Maple Story.
Yeah.
Heart.
And then what's the other one? Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets as well.
Really good.
Right now, you can't like create houses and stuff in that, but it's
not social either.
Right. Yeah, that's
Raccoon
true too.
Lagoon, you can visit each other on each other's islands, and you can like go farm together and like decorate. It's good. Raccoon
That sounds
Lagoon.
really good. Yeah.
So let me shift the question a little bit, right? So like right now we're talking about like gaming, you know, and like you mentioned, you know, being in a confrontation in VR doesn't sound like a fun thing to do, so you're not going to do it, which I totally understand. I don't want to spend my free time stressing out. But what if you did it with the intention of, you know, finding a way to become more comfortable in that space, or maybe not you, but like police training or something like that, right? Where like you put them into a violent scenario, which of course no one wants to be in, but I think that is a real opportunity. I think VR really can help people get comfortable occupying that space of confrontation with a VR avatar or whatever, and it could easily translate into the real world behaviors of them being like, okay, I've seen something similar to this. I know something similar to this, and like makes dealing with that scenario perhaps arguably easier.
Yeah, and I would take that to like a higher viewpoint too, rather than just, you know, confrontations for training. I've heard of people using VR to help them overcome stage fright and be able to be better at public speaking. And I don't know if you guys have played Dance Central. I played it, and at first it's a really weird game because you're dancing in a club with, I don't know, some trainers or dancers that you meet. But you have to dance in the middle of the dance floor, and like the better that you do, all the people that are dancing around you start watching you. And I know they're just avatars, but the thought of people watching, like all watching me dance in the middle of the dance floor, really froze me up. It was so intimidating. But then I got more comfortable, and it's a very weird psychological thing. But I definitely think that, you know, things in VR can help people overcome a lot of obstacles and things that they want to get better at in the real world.
I agree.
I think so too. So back in the day, there was Rock Band that came out for the Oculus Rift platform exclusively, right? And you could grab your plastic guitar and you put this little adapter thing on there, and you put the controller on it, and then you stood up on a stage in front of all these NPCs looking at you. And if you did good, they cheered for you and they're like, oh, right. But if you were doing bad, they booed you and stuff like that. And it was really, it gave you a little bit of anxiety. It was really like standing up there on stage, and it was kind of freaky. So I totally get that. And yeah, I think it could kind of translate a little bit to real life, because, you think in your brain like, okay, I've done something like this before, right? Mm-hmm. But
it's even more interesting. Like right now we're talking about avatars, and I think that is the most interesting part of this thing. It's like those aren't even real people. Mm-hmm. But I think it's no argument that like social awkwardness 100% exists in social VR, right? Like if you like walk into a room, you might be like scared to approach a circle of people talking, just like you would in the real world.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that's because
it's so weird.
There's a real person behind those avatars. Right. Yet what we're talking about, you are well aware that there's nobody on that dance floor with you, but an avatar turning and looking at you is enough to create a physiological reaction.
A discomfort.
A physiological reaction.
Insecurity, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
And I like that you brought up the social thing, the social platforms. Things like VR Chat and Neos, they can really, you walk up to a group of people, everyone's conversating, you have that sense of presence, you feel like you're really there, and you know those people are real people. So when you walk up to that circle, you do have that kind of same social anxiety of kind of butting into a conversation and feeling, right? It is. But at the same time, I hear so many amazing stories from people in these social environments that say, because of VR Chat, because of Neos, they can now go out and they can speak with people, and they don't have the same social anxiety that they once had because they're spending all of these hours in there, and now they can conversate with people face to face as well.
I've seen some crazy posts.
Warms my heart.
I've seen some posts would be like, hey everybody, how many else out there realized they were gay after using VR chat?
Really?
And it's a
and they're
thing.
like finding themselves inside of their sexuality.
Yes,
and
there are there are
that's wild.
plenty of people who have discovered their sexuality or parts of their sexuality that they didn't know existed by going into social VR, meeting people, engaging in new ways, and discovering parts of themselves that they realized they enjoyed.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is amazing. And it's not just one or two.
Yeah.
There's like a community, like there's tons of people who get into this and start expressing themselves in all of these new ways that they never had access to before.
You learn a lot about yourself when you go out there and you conversate and you talk with other people and you hear other people's viewpoints. And then you find things about yourself that maybe you didn't know before, the things that, feelings that you have about certain situations that you've just never thought about, right? So it's interesting to go into these platforms and talk to people and get all of these different viewpoints and kind of learn about yourself as much as you do about learning about other people and how to act in social situations.
Right. What comes to mind, and this is something I'm glad we got around to, is this Oculus ad that circulated this week that a lot of people responded with, oh, what a funny ad. But I actually had some mixed feelings about it. And I apologize, we don't have it ready here.
What is the ad? Maybe
the ad is the newest Oculus ad, and it shows two guys who become friends playing VR who don't realize that they're actually next door neighbors. And it shows all of their real life engagements, and they're very standoffish and like not interested in getting to know each other at all. But then they go home and put on the headsets and like all of the walls are down, right? And now they're able to connect and do what they both mutually enjoy. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's so funny. Haha, they don't know each other. But like, it got me thinking, it was like, wait a second, like, why are we so standoffish in the real world? And why is it that when we put on VR headsets, we all of a sudden feel like the barriers have been pulled down? Especially when we're talking about how the energies don't give a shit if you're in VR. They don't give a shit if you're in VR or not. You are awkward when you walk up to that circle in the same way that you would be in the real world. So if those energies exist in both realities, why is this reality one where we choose to not engage and choose to not be friends and choose to not give a shit about each other, but then we go home and put on a VR headset and now this is the only place where we can get authentic connection with each other? Like that's
interesting.
It got me feeling a little weird about that. Yeah, this is it.
Okay.
It got me feeling a little bit weird.
I have a point to make about that.
Yeah.
Usually if you're in real life situations and someone comes up to you, you usually think that they need or want something from you. There's no reason, it's rare that someone will just come up to you, a stranger in public, for no reason unless they needed something from you or was asking something of you. Whereas when we're in VR, we already know that we're there to have fun, and we're pretty sure that other people that are also in VR are there to have fun. So that breaks down the barriers because we're not thinking that someone's expecting or needing or wanting something out of us. We're all just there for the mutual understanding of we just want to have a good time and relax.
Right. And, I can definitely appreciate that. But these guys are neighbors. Like, they literally live next to each other. You know
That's
what I
so
mean?
funny. I've never seen this ad before. I don't know how I missed this.
Yeah.
So this is interesting.
Yeah. So, and I think that you make a good point. It's like these guys don't know what the intentions are of the other guy when they meet on the elevator, but you do know the intentions of the guy in the Pop 1 lobby when you grew up with him. He's intending to win. And so are you. So let's go. But I thought, to me, this, like, I don't know, it's just like a weird little red flag went up, and it was like, wait a second, like, I feel like we should still be capable of connecting in the real world too. Like, let's not like shift our ability to be friends into virtual reality, please. Like, can we still be friends in the real world as well? This kind of just gave me some mixed feelings, and maybe it wasn't supposed to, but it did get me thinking.
Yeah, I do think it's sad that in the real world we don't have as much openness as we do in VR. But like we just talked about, maybe being able to have these kind of interactions in VR will also translate into the real world in the future. Just like all those experiences that we're having in VR are letting us change ourselves in the real world. So
that's a good point. And I think it probably will, right? Like those people who discover their sexuality by going into social VR after, a while, then they discover that translates, maybe not, I don't know, but I imagine that those people would find a newfound confidence to express themselves in their human form.
I hear that a lot. I mean,
in their human form.
Yeah. Well, you're still you, regardless
term.
of whether or not you're an avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Wait,
true.
can I make a quick point? I was
Always.
playing VR chat. I don't remember with who, but I put on this avatar, and it was like this super fabulous avatar with like stiletto long nails, like just stunning. And every time I looked at my hands, I was like, maybe I should get long nails in real life. I don't know, but talking about how VR allows you to express yourself more. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you'll see me rocking long nails in the future.
I did 100%. And I mean, technology and like gaming, I think, or simulation as a whole really provides that. You know, VR being so immersive, being so captivating, I think is like an accelerated road. You know, like you quickly start to get to those kinds of things. It took me a year of playing Animal Crossing on 3DS and decorating my house in Animal Crossing on 3DS before I looked up at my walls in my apartment and I was like, wait a second, I don't decorate in here. You know, like I'm spending hours decorating in like caring about what's on my walls in Animal Crossing, but all of my walls in my real world are bare. What the fuck? And I started
It's a little
decorating
cheaper to do
and
in Animal Crossing.
very sure, but it was about the expression, not about the money. Before I found
Yeah.
no expression in putting stuff on my walls, but after playing Animal Crossing, I was like, you know what? Like, let's mix this shit up. Like, let's put some stuff on the
You know,
wall.
that's so funny because
That's cute. I
I
love that.
felt very similar about the time I've spent in Neos creating some stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, wow, I've put so much time into creating this world that I enjoy to be in. And I have put very little effort into my actual place. And then I actually went and I hung some stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So, yeah.
and that's what we're talking about here. It's unlocking these like latent expressions, you know, because really if you ask me, that's what life is all about. Like that is why we are here. We're here for the expression of being human, of moving, of you dance because you're expressing yourself. Like that's why people dance, you know, like it's expression. And maybe they can get hired as a dancer, but the intention should be to express yourself. So we're finding new ways to express ourselves using this technology. And as the more immersive it gets, the quicker we can find out who we are.
I think that's a
100%.
message that needs to be perpetuated more. I mean, before we had this conversation, I never really thought about it. I've experienced it. I didn't think about it actively. But now that I'm thinking about it actively, if we were to introduce this technology to somebody that's not into VR and maybe tell them that this is a way that you can learn more about yourself and also figure out who you are and how to express yourself more, that's a pretty interesting, proposition.
You know, and I think we can help do that, you know, because right now, like, I think that's kind of the idea that HTC has with the Flow, right? Like, they want you to be able to use that device to, like, be a good spiritual human or some shit, you know, but like they just advertise it as, oh, you can meditate, oh, you can do yoga, and they assume that everyone knows yoga and meditation equals spiritual wellness, you know, or mental and emotional wellness, if you want to call it that. But not everyone really understands what the intention of yoga and meditation is. Like there's a lot of like, you know, hot chicks out there who do yoga every day and their intention is to stay hot, you know, and they do the yoga in front of the mirror with all the people and they pay $100 for the class. And, you know, like that's why they do yoga. But yoga for a lot of people is that connection, is that spiritual exercise. It's that mind, heart, and body practice. So we might need to kind of like stop giving people the benefit of the doubt a little bit and like start at square one and be like, you can discover things about yourself. Just like you said, Jasmine, like start there and then introduce the idea of meditation and yoga and be like, these are conduits. Like this is how you use these things to keep that going.
So it's like at the core of like what I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel. Is like trying to go simpler and simpler and simpler until I can hit more people. Because right now, when we talk about VR technology, I think we're so immersed in it and we've been in the space for so long that it's hard for us to relate to people that aren't, or it's hard for us to know how to simplify what we experience to people who just aren't in the space. So I'm constantly trying to figure out like, how do I make things simpler and more accessible to more people so that they can relate better?
Yeah, you're right. You know, me and you have had conversations, and we actually did an interview on your show from within Neos, and you know, you asking me how do you explain this to people, and and I find it is very difficult to express what VR is to somebody, let alone something like Neos, right? So that is a very interesting conversation, because like I know so much about VR, I always just assume that everyone else does too, in a weird way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's an interesting thought.
My favorite way to try to explain to someone what it feels like to be in VR is to say, like, you put a movie or a video game on the TV, and then walk up to the TV and step into it.
Oh, that's a good way.
And now you're inside of it. Like, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like stepping into your TV and being able to look around and being placed inside that world, like a portal.
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good.
So you know what I'm waiting on? I know we talked about VR for gaming and fitness, and we talked about VR for helping people overcome things in the real world. But what I'm really, really waiting on is for someone to do something in VR that's exactly like the Magic School Bus. I freaking love that show growing up, and I want to go on all these like little explorations with my field trip friends and learn about, I don't know, go inside someone like the human body and learn about things. It's gonna be so good once VR education comes out. It's just going to be so fun. And as someone that's like a very visual learner, I just see so much value in this for a lot of people that are also like me.
That's absolutely in development right now, right? Like
someone's
making
it. Is so I work with Vertigo, and I work with Springboard, and we have a lot of educational experiences, and we have a lot of universities and schools and libraries that are using and bringing in VR and bringing in these platforms in order to educate people, right? And to show them things in new ways, because we remember things differently when we're engrossed inside of something, right? Rather than reading the words on a page.
Totally.
We can really learn things in a whole new way. And, it's one of the things that I love about social platforms like Neos, right? Is you can do that. You can all hop in a bus together. Like Jazz, I think we hopped in a train and actually went through the Black Mesa facility in Half-Life, right? And then from there went out and swam around in a cheese river or something, right? We did some stuff like that, like some Magic School Bus type of things, right? So I mean, we are definitely on that road, and that is definitely happening.
The thing that always just blows my mind every time I go to like a zoo is the size relativity. And that's like the thing, like relativity of size is the thing that VR just fucking nails so well. Like you can stand next to a blue whale in VR and actually like conceptualize the size of it. Like when I was growing up, the way I was conceptualizing the size of a blue whale is they were like, its heart is the size of a Volkswagen Bug. That was it. Like that was the information I got to imagine how big one of these was. Because I mean, you can say, oh, it measures up to 60 meters or whatever, but like, I don't know, you're young.
You don't get it.
No, but when you put a headset on and you see that fucking thing standing next to you and it is that big, you understand, oh my God, that is so huge. Like you really get it.
I didn't get it until they experienced the blue. Do you remember the blue, right? Where you're kind of under in the ocean there, you're standing on like a ship that is sank, right? And then this blue whale like swims up to you and it looks at you with its giant eye. And at that moment I understood. And I had the same feeling about the solar system, right? So you can go into, there's a free experience on Steam called The Lab, right? And it has a bunch of little mini games on it. But one of the things you can do is you can go walk around in the solar system and you can hold planets up next to each other, and you can kind of like take the Earth in one hand, hold it right up, stand right up next to the sun, and you can truly see the size difference. And I mean,
insane.
As soon as I experienced that in VR, I got it. Like I understood more than any book has ever been able to show me, any illustration, to actually hold the Earth while standing next to the sun, and then like kind of plop it right in there, right into the sun.
And have it be accurate.
Wow.
Like size, like to scale.
Yeah.
You know, like it's really awesome.
Yeah. For me, what really got me to understand size and scale in VR was when I went into Neos VR with us and stood next to Skiva.
Yes.
And Skiva's a freaking giant. I mean, I'm very short. I'm 5 foot. I think Skiva said you're 6'7".
Yeah, 6'7". Yeah. Or just over
I was just like,
2 meters.
Are you, did you get your avatar? Like, what the heck? So I think I don't know. Right now we're all doing like Zoom calls for work and stuff. But it's pretty funny to go into VR and then see your height relative to other people's actual.
Yep. And you can change your height, obviously, right? I didn't have to represent my actual physical height, but I chose to. So, and it's interesting, and I know you were also representing your height, and I didn't realize that, you know, you weren't that tall either. So it definitely was interesting. So now, like I feel like when we meet in real life, you know, one of these days, it's not going to be like, oh my God, you're so tall. Oh my God, you're not. You know what I mean? Like, so like we've already been there, done that, you know, through the power of virtual reality.
It is amazing.
But yeah, I actually, you know, I've brought my daughter in some of these experiences to see some of these things. I brought her into the solar system thing to show her different planets and how they relate to each other and how they actually go around the sun. And you could just see, I mean, man, you could just see this sinking in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In ways that just can't be done any other way, in my opinion. So
yeah. I mean, it's awesome, you know, and like, sure, the programs, like the apps exist, you know, like that thing's out there, but how many kids are actually getting into it? You know, like it's really exciting to see, hopefully this become more accessible and have more and more opportunities, because we all read from a textbook. I imagine that kids are probably on computer. I don't know, what do kids learn from these days? Do they still have textbooks?
I think they still have books, and they also have tablets and computers as well.
Yeah, I was like,
tablets. I don't know, but I mean, the VR headset will be, it has to be a staple, especially with science. Like, science
well,
is
you know,
no-brainer.
so I've seen a lot of things happening now with especially headsets like the Pico Neo, where schools are able to start adopting these things, right? It's very hard for schools to adopt things like the Oculus Quest because kids have to have Facebook accounts, and it's not allowed. You know what I mean? You can't force a kid into social media.
Right.
So now that we have headsets like the Pico Neo that are now available in our region, I've been seeing a lot of that adoption, and a lot of people that are starting, and a lot of schools that are bringing these in like full carts of these headsets, right? And they walk into a classroom with a cart of headsets, pass them out, do a lesson. You know what I mean? It's wild. I mean, their learning is going to be so much different.
Dude, we're going to get passed up so fast. I mean, we already have, but like we're going to get passed up exponentially.
Well, good.
Really soon.
Evolution.
Yeah, I'm down for it. I am so down for it. But we're going to be looking like Neanderthals in like another 30, 40 years, bro. Like it's going to be
the future is so exciting.
Insane.
It really is.
These new humans will have been born from day one with instantaneous global information and communication.
Yep.
Their whole lives. Like I was still going to an encyclopedia to get information when I was a kid. You know how much time I lost? Like I lost insanely important, valuable developmental time looking in a book for some stupid shit. Well, kids today are like, boom, there it is. Boom, there it is. Like they're stacking up information so fast. Yeah. Oh my God. It's going to be amazing. Like the kids of tomorrow are going to, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how many people think that VR is just for games, right? It's not. It's so not. This is going to change everything.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
So as equally passionate as I am about VR, I'm also very big into like technology and the future as a whole in general. I'm really like, I have every single home gadget that you can think of. I'm like, I don't want to clean my house. If I can't wait until it's all self-driving cars, so I don't have to drive anywhere.
Amen.
I've started seeing all the little robots that drive, you know, your groceries, your takeout, whatever. I'm like, yes, please. Like, let's not have to do all these things that are taken away from, you know, being able to enjoy our lives, like all the menial tasks that we don't want to do. Let's just get this on. Let's get to the future.
Yep. Like imagine if we had to like focus on making our lungs pump or our heart pump, you know, like all of these like menial like body tasks, you know, that like our body automates for us. Like now we're able to think and, you know, be philosophical and make art and play games and have conversations and love and do all that stuff because we don't have to worry about, you know, like maybe we'll have like a revolution of humanity once a lot of that stuff becomes automated and we don't have to spend so much mental and physical resources picking up our groceries, you know, like it's just there and we can stay focused on the things that are important to us.
And even outside of that, you know, right now we do 40-hour work weeks. My hope, at least my vision for the future is that eventually so many things get automated or become, you know, more efficient that we can spend less time working, less time doing tasks, less time doing chores or whatever, and more time doing the things that we actually want to do in our lives so that we feel more fulfilled.
Yep. I agree. Automation is everything. I mean, being in technology myself, pretty much my whole life, I mean, everything is about automate. How do we automate this? How do we take this out of the hands of people so we can think and we can solve more problems and do better things and just make things, make things better and more efficient, run companies more efficiently. So this is huge. And I was talking to you before about CES, I think, and I told you I was, kind of quickly walking around a corner, and I kind of turned this corner and almost walked right into a robot. Right. And it was like, we both stopped, and it was like, excuse me. And I was like, what the fuck? Holy shit. I remember that, man. That was really cool stuff, man. I'm so excited for the future. I'm excited for robotics and virtual reality and all of this automation stuff that's happening, and self-driving cars, and just all of these things, man. I feel like it's really going to, some people look at this stuff like it's just going to make lazy people, but I feel like that's because you're lazy. You know what I mean?
You hear that, Gary?
Who said
Calling
that?
out Wally. Well, but for real though, I agree with you.
Out.
But I do agree, because it's like, if we could free our time up, we can focus on the things that are important to us. And maybe you don't know what's important to you, but if you had more time, you would figure that out.
That
you
is
could
correct.
do stuff, and you would realize, oh, wait a second, I'm passionate about this, or oh, wait a second, I'm good at this. You don't even have to be passionate about it. If you realize that you're the best tortilla maker on the fucking West Coast or whatever, you're going to take a sense of pride in that, and you're going to start making tortillas,
Great. Now I want a burrito. Thanks.
And right now, all these things like robotics, VR, crypto, all these things are all moving up in their own verticals, but at some point in the very near future, they're all going to intersect, and it's going to be freaking wild. The world's going to completely change. It's going to be amazing.
I've been saying this for a while, but I think that there's a damn good chance that during our lifetimes, assuming that we live normal life expectancies, we will see something come along that truly challenges our definition of what it means to be a human.
And we already have with virtual reality.
I think virtual reality is a step in that direction, but I don't think it's evidence of it. Like it's evidence that there could,
there's more.
It's on the way. Yep. It's like I see what's going on here, but
teaser.
I think that we could all wake up one day and all know something, like every day, or like all at the same time. Boom! All of a sudden, like something clicks, and we're all like, we look at each other and we're like, "Did you feel that?" And you're like, "Yup." "Did you feel that?" "Yup." "Oh my God, we're here!" And like things will be different, And I think VR is a contributor towards that.
VR, brain computer interfacing will be a huge step in that direction. It's a bright future, man. It's a bright technological future that I am very, very excited to see.
See, this is where I like to end up. I like to have an optimistic perspective of where we're going, because a lot of times it's so easy to just assume the dystopian future and be like, yep, that's it. We're fucked. Mark Zuckerberg is going to destroy it, and that's it. But I truly do remain optimistic. I believe in the goodness of people, and I believe that the light is going to outshine the darkness, and we might see that shit in our lives.
But if no one talks about the darkness and no one makes people aware that it's there, then we can't take corrective actions to make the future a better place. So it is important to also share the information about things that are happening, but to remain optimistic, because people generally do want the good. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone is a corporation. I'm not just looking to maximize my profits, right? Like, I want the good for the things that I love. And that's how a lot of people are, and that's how a lot of things are. And as long as we inform each other of some of the bad things, but don't get completely caught up and swallowed by them, right? And remain optimistic, I think we have a very powerful and bright future. So,
Jasmine, what has been unsaid so far today? Because we are getting pretty close now, so I want to make sure that we get to everything. So is there anything over there that you think that is important that we haven't had a chance to get to yet? Of course, no pressure.
I think we talked about most things, although touching on this last point about like being positive and thinking about like being optimistic for the future. That's how I like to spend my time. So I know a lot of people talk about like all the news and what's happening, and I try to stay away from that for a reason. I think I want to focus my time, my energy, my emotions on educating people or bringing new people in. Like, that's where I want to put my energy. And I know that if I'm, like looking at all these other negative things that are happening, it's going to ruin mood and ruin my, my ability to be more creative. So I try to stay away from that, and I focus my energy and my time into creation. I think everyone's a little different though, but that's why I try to stay away from these types of topics.
Well, we all pick our battles, you know what I mean? And like there are fights that I choose to stay outside of the world of VR. You know what I mean? Especially like political stuff, like I'm just not going to get involved, because I can't contribute energy to all this bullshit, to your point.
Very good point.
But some of us are compelled, right? Like, and you feel a compulsion to pull people in.
I love that word.
We have a compulsion to be soldiers and warriors for the cause. Like when you see a king marching towards your town with an army, you do something about that. You don't just say, hey, I'd rather just paint. I don't want to concern myself with that thing over there. Like someone needs to do something. Otherwise the king is just going to march into our castle gates and take everything over, So the least we can do is go around with flyers and tell all the townspeople, and be like, hey, everybody, just so you know, there's a king on the horizon right now, and he's got an army, and he might be coming to take this shit. So just in case he is, maybe we can get some fighters together. So Skiva and I will continue to be the soldiers passing out the flyers. If you don't want to worry about that, you don't have to, because we're there, and we're going to fight the fight for you.
Yeah, and everybody has a different role in the VR space, so that's great.
Exactly. And if you're out there thinking to yourself, what's my role? You already know it. So get all the bullshit out of the way, identify it, and get involved. Come and join us. Join our communities, join our Discords, subscribe to channels, go into live streams, make your own channel, get on Discord, start following everybody, make yourself a name, put a VR on the end of it, and get involved, because it's still small, it's still intimate, you can still join us, and there's space for you.
Oh, man.
So come on, baby.
There we go.
Just crack me up. Yeah, put a VR at the end of your name and you're in. That's all. That's
all
all
it takes. That's all it takes, baby.
Can I see your ID? Oh, it ends in VR. You're in. Come on in. Let's go.
All right. Jasmine, why don't you give us some closing thoughts as we start to wrap things up?
Oh, closing thoughts. I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah, well, I mean, how do we find you? What, where can people,
yeah.
stuff like that,
Okay,
or whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, so, just close us up.
Yeah, so I'm mostly on YouTube nowadays, although I'm also like on Instagram and Twitter and all that other stuff. My focus right now is still making YouTube videos for to bring new people in. So it might not be for a lot of people that are here, because you're all, I'm pretty sure, hardcore VR enthusiasts, but my videos are mostly probably for your friends and your family that are like, no, I don't think VR is for me. I'll convince them.
There it is.
Yeah, but that's where you can find me.
Cool. And all of those links are in the description below. They're also on the monitor right below me right here if you just want to type them in, or you can just go in the description and click. And go ahead and subscribe to Jazz on all of the different social platforms, so you can pass this information along to your friends and to the people that aren't in the VR bubble, and kind of push them into the bubble a little bit.
That's it.
Yeah.
VR with Jasmine. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was so awesome having you on the show, and I know that you will not be a stranger to us.
This was such a good conversation. Thank you for having me. Thanks everyone for listening.
It was awesome. And say goodbye, everyone, to Jasmine as she leaves us and is ejected permanently from the Between Reality ship.
And she gone.
She gone.
She gone.
That was awesome.
Yep, that was a good time.
Yeah.
It's always fun to chat, especially with friends, Like
Right.
I feel like, Jasmine's a friend. She's super awesome, really nice person. We spend a lot of time in, Neos, and we play Population 1 together and stuff, so she's good people. Good people.
Yep, absolutely. And we have lots of different kinds of conversations on this show. Sometimes it's like VR and games, and that's it, and we don't get into anything like really like meaty, you know what I mean? Or sometimes, like last week, we had those the guys from Virginia Philosophy Labs, and it was just like the talk about universal morality for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but this conversation I loved. It was like such a good blend of virtual reality and like some like good like ethical kind of moral implications of the things that we were talking about, and had a great balance.
Yeah, education and all this stuff. It was really good. And if you guys do want a little bit of a brain massage, you can go back to last week's episode and check out that episode. It was really, really fun with the Virginia Philosophy Reality Lab. It's a mouthful, but it was a good time. And we got great guests coming up, guys. We actually have almost too many guests, so we're going to start pulling in some bonus episodes here soon, and you'll see some more episodes of Between Realities coming.
So next week. Well,
next week we have 2 episodes.
Okay, so let's break this down, okay? Before we're wrapping this up, everybody, trust me. But so tomorrow we're gonna be live. We are doing the Cybershoes Contractors event. If you have a pair of Cybershoes, you are encouraged to come and participate with us. We're going to do a live broadcast. We haven't decided exactly who's going to be playing. Maybe I'm playing. Maybe Skeeve is playing. Who knows? Maybe we'll trade. I don't know. But we're going to figure something out, and we're going to be broadcasting the event. So we encourage you to come and join us
come on by and talk to us. One of us will be talking to the chat and hanging out and doing stuff. So it'll be fun. Come chill.
Delirium Drew with the $2 super chat.
Right at the thanks, homie.
Line says private population 1 lobby tonight.
I'll be there. Damn straight.
And I'm going to do my best to come as well. And we will have a code for that lobby where we'll be playing tonight in Population 1 in our Discord server. So check our description below, join Discord, and do that. So next week we're going to have 2 episodes.
Yes.
So is this
This is Wednesdays.
This
Yes,
is
on
Wednesday.
Wednesdays we're going to have a bonus episode featuring Joanna Popper.
Joanna Popper
from Hewlett Packard, from HP. She's the one kind of shilling for the HP Reverb G2 and their some of their other headsets. Their HP's getting big into virtual reality as well. They make some of the more high-end displays for VR, and really
Joanna
nice
Popper
headsets.
is like a player in the VR scene.
Huge. She has done more for VR than a lot of people. She's in it, man. She's in that front line, really battling for this.
This is someone really like not just behind the scenes, but like right behind the curtain. So this is going to be a great conversation to have with her on Wednesday. So we'll see you tomorrow for Contractors. We'll see you on Wednesday with Joanna Popper, and we will reveal next Friday as a guest on Wednesday.
Yes. Another fine lady from the community.
Oh, say no more. Say no more.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. It's the month of the lady here on Between Realities.
That it is.
Like this video, please. Subscribe to the channel. Join us on audio podcasts, wherever you get your audio podcasts, and we will see you tomorrow.
All right,
That's
guys.
Have a great
Love you all.
night, everyone.
See you
soon.
later. Bye-bye.